Welcome to my channel. These are the top 10 billionaire-owned mega mansions with private zoos. Number 10. Chateau de Fong Tenblau. Built in 1631 by Louis XIV of France, this palace was intended to be the seat of government and a royal residence. The palace has 40 bedrooms, 5 living rooms, 2 dining rooms, and is surrounded by a large park and extensive formal gardens. In the early days, the king would use the gardens to exercise his right to hunt animals across the land. Today, the chateau features over 7,000 animals from around the world, including lions, elephants, giraffes, and more. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that welcomes guests from all over the globe. In 2011, it was purchased by Saudi Prince Al-Wali bin Talal for an estimated $500 million, making it the second most expensive home ever sold. There have been many famous people who have stayed at the Chateau de Fong Tenblau, including Napoleon Bonaparte, Charles de Gaulle, Winston Churchill, and Dwight D. Eisenhower. So what will your room look like if you decide to stay there? Well, the guest rooms are decorated in French antiques, and some have 4 poster beds or marble fireplaces. If you're lucky enough, you might be able to book the royal suite where the king and queen used to stay. No. 9. Villa Leopolda. Built in 1902 on the French Riviera, Villa Leopolda is one of the largest private residences in Europe. It has 80 rooms and sits on 8 acres of land with manicured gardens and a grotto. The villa was once owned by King Leopold II of Belgium, but was seized by the Italian government after his death in 1905. It then passed into the hands of the Agnelli family, one of Italy's wealthiest families, who still own it today. The villa is now open to the public as a museum, and if you can believe it, there are over 150 species of animals living within its grounds, including peacocks, turtles, and exotic birds. But these are nothing compared to the amazing collection of cars owned by the previous owner of the villa, Johnny Agnelli, who had a passion for collecting vintage automobiles. He owned a number of rare and valuable cars, including several Bugattis and Alfa Romeos. The art alone in this villa is said to be worth $500 million. Number 8. Antilia. Antilia is the private residence of Mukesh Ambani, the richest man in India with a net worth of $92 billion. At 27 stories tall, this skyscraper is the 6th tallest residential building in the world. It has 4 basements and 16 elevators, and each floor is larger than the last. There is also a health club, a multi-level car park, and an observation deck with panoramic views of Mumbai. This house is nicknamed the world's most expensive home, and it costs $1 billion to build. There are rumors that the Ambani family keeps a menagerie of exotic animals, but so far none of this has been confirmed. However, we do know that they keep a pack of dogs which they treat like their own children. One of their pet poodles even has a personal chef who prepares meals especially for him. Ambani's daughter Isha often posts pictures of her pet dogs on social media, and they have become something of a celebrity in India. The couple also donated $70 million to the Wildlife Trust of India to save endangered species such as tigers and elephants. So it's likely that they have a soft spot for animals. What else can you expect inside Antilia? Well, there are rumors that there is a ballroom, a theater, and even a running track. There is also a temple dedicated to the family's favorite Hindu deity, which is said to be worth $100 million alone. No. 7. Hearst Castle. This stunning estate was built in 1919 by publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst, and it took 8 years to complete. The castle has 165 rooms and sits on 250 acres of land. It was designed by architect Julia Morgan and boasts incredible views of the Pacific Ocean. During its heyday, the castle was filled with priceless art and antiques that were collected by William and his son Randolph. It was also home to a menagerie of exotic animals, including lions, elephants, monkeys, and camels. When William died in 1951, he left the castle to his grandson, William Randolph Hearst III, who opened it to the public as a museum. Hearst Castle is now open for tour, and visitors can explore the lavish rooms and gardens, as well as the castle's zoo, which is home to over 800 animals. There are also regular events held at the castle, such as weddings and corporate retreats. Did you know that President Franklin D. Roosevelt first met his wife, Eleanor, at Hearst Castle? They were both attending a party hosted by William and Marian Hearst. Number 6. Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace has been the London residence of Her Majesty the Queen since 1837. The palace has 775 rooms, including 92 offices, 188 staff bedrooms, and 78 bathrooms. It also has 78 toilets. Every year, the Queen opens up part of the palace to the public for tour. Visitors can see the throne room, the dining room, and the ballroom, as well as the gardens. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of the Queen's corgis. She has bred and trained them for generations, and they often accompany her on walks around the palace grounds. The Queen also uses the palace as a venue for entertaining guests. Important foreign dignitaries are often invited to stay in one of the palace's many guest suites. And every year, the Queen hosts a garden party for thousands of people. There is also a small zoo on the grounds of the palace that is home to a variety of animals, including llamas, pigs, and goats. The animals are used for ceremonial purposes only and are not open to the public. Number 5. Chateau de Fong. This stunning property is located in the south of France, and it was once the vacation spot of choice for the rich and famous. The chateau was built in 1651 by the same architect who designed the Palace of Versailles, and it was later purchased by the Rothschild banking family. The chateau is surrounded by manicured gardens and a large park that is home to a variety of wildlife. Over the years, the chateau has been rented out to celebrities such as Elton John, Madonna, and the Rolling Stones. The current owners, the Penault family, are one of France's wealthiest families, and they have reportedly spent millions restoring the chateau to its former glory. The interior of the chateau is decorated with antiques and works of art, and there is a 2-story library with over 20,000 historical books. It's not open to the public, but you can take a peek inside through Google Street View. No. 4. Waddesdon Manor. Built in 1874 by Baron Ferdinand Rothschild, this mansion is now owned by his descendants and is open to the public for tour. The house has 10 bedrooms, for living rooms and for bathrooms, and sits on 3,000 acres of land. There are also extensive formal gardens and a lake on the property. One of the highlights of the house is the art alone, which includes paintings by Rembrandt and Gainsborough, as well as furniture by Thomas Chippendale. The house also has a wine cellar which contains over 2,500 bottles of wine. As for the zoo, it's home to a variety of birds, reptiles, and mammals, including peacocks, turtles, and pygmy hippos. You can also find a small petting zoo on the grounds that is popular with families. Did you know that the Rothschild family played a major role in financing the construction of the Suez Canal? They also provided funding for the first transatlantic telegraph cable. Number 3. Royal Palace of Sirkechi. Built in 1881 by Sultan Abdul Hamid II, this palace is now a museum open to the public. The palace has 1,000 rooms and sits on 24 acres of land. It was designed to be a showpiece of Ottoman architecture and features a mix of traditional and modern elements. Some of the highlights of the palace include the throne room, the library, and the harem. The palace is also home to a zoo that is home to a variety of animals, including lions, tigers, and bears. Oh, and don't forget the camels. The palace also has a mosque and a tomb on the grounds that are used for burial rituals. Can you imagine having your own private zoo? I sure can. Just picture me walking around with a lion on a leash or riding a tiger to work. Now that would be a commute. Number 2. Palacio de Liria. This beautiful palace was built in the 18th century for the Duke of Liria and was later purchased by King Alfonso XIII of Spain. The palace has 47 bedrooms, 5 living rooms, and 5 bathrooms, and sits on 35 acres of land. There are also extensive formal gardens and a grotto on the property. In the early days, the palace was home to a variety of animals, including horses, cows, and chickens. However, today, there are no longer any animals living at the palace. Instead, the grounds are home to a variety of plants and trees, many of which are hundreds of years old. You can tour the palace and gardens, but unfortunately, you cannot bring your dog. No. 1. Rashtrapati Bhavan. Rashtrapati Bhavan is the official residence of the President of India. It has 340 rooms and sits on 16 acres of land. The building was designed by British architect Edward Lutyens and was completed in 1930. The residence is now open to the public for tour. Visitors can explore the lavish rooms and gardens, as well as the zoo that is home to a variety of animals, including peacocks, monkeys, and crocodiles. Did you know that the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan originally planned to build a palace on the site of Rashtrapati Bhavan? However, the project was never completed. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our other videos about the richest people in the world. Thanks for watching.